At this time, I would like to ask that our 8 finalists come out and join me on stage, and we'll chat a little bit while the judges are delivering and get to know the 8 finalists a little bit more. So I didn't want to do the usual thing where we kind of go down the line, which just seems so, I don't know, Miss America or something. I thought I'd just kind of throw things out, and whoever wants to sort of jump in and take a question, I'll come over and find you with the microphone. The judges are already deliberating, so working world peace into your response will have no effect on the outcome tonight. Just putting that out there. So, gosh, I can't imagine what it's like for all of you on a day like today, and I wonder, what is it like? What do you do on a competition day that's different and special? Do you have different routines? Do you have superstitions? Anybody? Sure.
So, as a vocalist, I tend to eat certain things and drink certain things in the days prior to performing. Yes, exactly, Ella. So I hydrate a lot. So I drink like tons and tons of water, electrolyte drinks, coconut water, things like that. Make sure I'm really hydrated. And then the day of a performance, I always do a little bit of yoga, something that's very centering, and just try to do my normal daily routine so I don't have, a special superstition that makes me nervous,
Anybody else? Who else? Any particular performance day, special, anybody? No? No superstitions at all? Any challenges in current logistics? I'm sorry, I saw you coming in out of here with that marimba. That has got to be, that's got to be challenging, isn't it? I mean, at least to some degree to get that, to transport it?
Yeah, it was the most difficult part of this competition, actually. To tell you the truth, but with art and everything, it takes a lot of people supporting you, and so I'm lucky enough to have someone that supports me very much and is always around to help me. So, my accompanist, Yukino.
So what specifically? How do you transport that? I mean, do you have a special, a trailer, or what do you do?
It's actually a U-Haul truck. For 1995 a day. It's pretty good.
Cool. So who among you are not from Texas originally? So, Conroe, have you been able to get out and see Conroe a little bit? Have you got any sort of impressions of East Texas life? Anything that you enjoyed in particular, or have you not been able to get out at all? Have you just been sequestered? No, okay. Anybody else? I'm sorry? Did you say that again?
Oh, it's really humid.
So does that I mean, I know sometimes with the vocalists that can be affected. Does that affect any of you with your instruments? Are there special things you have to do to compensate for the humidity? Yes?
Usually for reed instruments, our reeds get affected really easily with humidity, so we have to usually have multiple, usually 5 to 10 reeds that we cycle through, and just have to find the right one that works.
Wow. Anybody else? Out of the singers, does the humidity affect you at all? Do you?
I actually prefer when it's humid because then I feel like I'm more hydrated, and I don't know if that's real or just psychological I tell myself that there's more water in the air, so there must be more water in my body. I don't know. But yeah, if it's dry outside, that definitely does have an effect on me and on my vocal singing abilities.
Yeah. Did you have to do anything special to compensate for that?
Like Sydney, I drink a lot of water and I hydrate a lot leading up to it. I drink a lot of Gatorade leading up to performances, like she said, with the electrolytes. That helps a lot.
Cool. So, I mean, obviously you all want, you want the grand prize and you want the cash, because who can't use cash? What else does the experience of doing a competition like this, what does it gain you? What do you get from this? Anybody? Sure.
So for me, and for singers in general, a lot of our life is spent auditioning and performing small snapshots of what we do in front of people like this. So this is just for me another experience of putting these arias out there and having another experience performing them for people, which we don't do a lot normally. It's just an audition panel. So it's nice to actually get to sing these for an audience.
Yeah. And so, anybody else? Anybody else have any thoughts about that? Yeah.
I guess for me, because currently I'm not from United States, I'm an international student, and I go to UNT, so we just drove down from North Texas yesterday. I've never been to Southern Texas before, so it's really cool for me to see kind of different culture here. Of course, it's so humid at first, and then I would say I never heard that strong accent before. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool for me to hear it, like it's really vivid. So, yeah, I like traveling and also like doing competitions, so you meet all different people and you get to know more stuff. Yeah. And it's also good for music, so when you play, you have more experience. Yeah.
Just for the record, this is a mild Texas accent right here. It's pretty wild.
I would say being in a competition like this, it's very normal for us to do this, and you don't see us practicing every single day for 7 hours, or maybe, I don't know, me for 2 hours. But for music in general, it's 95% failure and 5% success. So I feel like these 8 people, talented 8 people, 7 people, sorry, it's something that you have to latch onto and just keep trying at. Because we're eventually going to fail. All of us are going to fail soon. So this is great.
So I wanted to ask you about your competition repertoire. Do you go with like a tried and true, that's something that's sort of safe and you can just wake up in the morning, roll out of bed and perform it? Or do you go for something a little riskier? Where do you stand on that line? Anybody? Yeah, sure.
I don't think I would take the risky one, but definitely I'm not going to play something that I just feel, it's safe to play at a competition, even I don't really feel I would like to perform that. So usually I go for something that I really feel the connection, and I feel I own the piece, and that's me, that's myself, when I'm playing, so that's how I am, the person who I am. So you can hear the music you can hear me from the music, and that's the most comfortable thing for me to play it. Yeah.
Choosing repertoire, I think, is maybe the hardest part for these sorts of things, because you want to impress the judges and the audience, of course, with some flash, and you also want to do something that's really technically impressive, which sometimes might not be the flashiest piece, because it has to be very even and smooth. and it doesn't come across as quite as impressive, but you want to have a good mix of that. So I tend to get in my own head a lot with strategy of those sorts of things. But what it comes down to for all of us, I imagine, is just choosing something that speaks to you as a performer. Because if it speaks to you, then it's going to transcend, to whoever's listening. And so all the strategy that I go through, I always come back to what do I sing the best? and that's what you have to go with. You can take some risks and you can play it safe, but ultimately it has to be what speaks to you.
So, when you're building a career, and you're starting out certainly, but even in the height of a career, it seems like there always needs to be somebody that you always listen to, because there's always a never-ending sea of people who are willing to give you advice and tell you, their opinion of what you're doing, but you have to really filter that out and find one person. Is there one person or even a couple of people that you particularly trust their voice in whatever you're doing, in your repertoire choice or how you're performing, or your voice, or am I making any sense? Okay.
A mentor of mine from a summer program that I went to the last 2 years said that each artist should have their own personal board of directors, and so my board consists of that mentor, my voice teacher from undergrad, my voice teacher from grad school, and my coach from grad school. So if I'm worried about, what repertoire should I do for this competition, I'll send them all an email and say, here's what I'm thinking, and then get all of their feedback and ultimately make the choice that I feel is best, but I consult the four of them a lot for things like this.
Anybody else? Yes.
So there's one violinist from long time ago during Soviet Union time named Leonid Kogan. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with his name. So I think as a musician it's important to have a lot of good references and sources for us to listen to before we choose a repertoire. But having listened to these old masters brings this great artistry and some type of nostalgic type of emotion that that it can never be brought back because we're not living in the same time as they did. So in a way it's a little bit disappointing because I think a lot of artists these days are now trying to imitate their sound instead of trying to find their own voice. So I think as a musician you should really the first thing that you should focus is to how you can find your voice and what could help you to bring that out. And in the end, all the hard work pays off. So I think we should be very thankful for that. Yeah.
One more big round of applause, please, for our finalists.